Welcome back and let's continue our session here. So, where is the object repository and how it looks? Just move on to the resources. Here we can see object repository. Just open the object repository. This is the place where it stores the information of the objects. If you have the information of the objects in this object repository, only in that circumstances it will try to identify the objects and it will try to perform the activities. As simple as that. Let me close this object repository. So again, let me show you that. You can move on to the resources. You can click on object repository, or else you can directly click on control plus R. Else you have a shortcut here, object repository here. Just click on that. So these are the possible ways to open your object repository. So object repository is a place where it stores the object properties. Up till now it's fine, but who is going to store the object properties and how it gets stores? That is what the concept is. Now we have understood that object repository is a place where it stores the object properties. So whenever we run the test, it will recall the information and it will try to identify the object, right? Yes, like any, see here, even the objects has some properties, height, weight, text, weight, like all the properties. So that will be stored and it will try to identify it uniquely. So that we'll see it, the identification process in test object model and object identification mechanism ahead. But here, who will add the information into object repository? How to add the information into object repository? Let's have a look on this. So this process basically we'll call it as a learning process. Learning process is nothing but adding the information or providing objects information into object repository. Learning process is nothing but providing the object information into object repository, as simple as that. So we have two types of learning process. One, basically we'll call it as a auto learning. Second, we'll call it as a pre learning. Auto learning and pre learning. Like this, we have two types of learning process. So let's start with auto learning. One point, what is learning process? Providing the information of object into object repository is known as learning process. So what is object repository? A place where it stores the object properties, as simple as that. Learning process. So let me take a new test here. Just let me click on record. Before to this, let me show you one thing actually. Let me stop it here. Just let me open the object repository. It's a new test and your object repository is literally empty. Actually, it has no information. Just have a look on this test object. Here, it has no information. Just try to remember this place here. Just click on record. I'm trying to operate few things here. I'm writing John in the agent name box and HP in password, and I'm clicking on OK. And just stop the test once you have done with that. Now open your object repository and have a look. See here. I have operated on agent name. I have operated on password and have clicked on OK button. Here, that information has been taken into object repository. As simple as that information has been taken into object repository. Agent name, password, and OK. See here, I have few other objects also. If you look at this flights UI, I have cancel also. Even here I have a question mark, EFT tutorial also. But still, why it has taken only these three? Why? Because I have performed activity on only those three objects. that is the reason only those three objects information has been taken into object repository. If I would have performed the operation on cancel, then cancel information obviously it has been taken, but I have not done anything on the cancel, right? I have done agent name, password, and okay. Only those three information has been literally stored into object repository. Just have a look on this, and here we go. This only three because I have operated on only those three, and those three information has been loaded. As simple as that. So this is what we'll call it as an auto learning. Auto learning. See here, just check the process flow how it happens actually. Very simple. And whenever we run the test, so this is your test here. Okay, this is your test, and we have an object repository, and even we have application on the screen. So we have everything on the screen. So how it happens whenever we run the test, whenever we run the test, first for the agent name, it will move on to your object repository. From the object repository, it will take the agent name's information and it will try to work with this agent name here. So if you have the information, then only it will run, else it will not. As simple as that. This is the process flow, what happens in a simpler mechanism. Clear? Now, so let's go ahead. This is what we'll call it as a auto learning. Auto learning, as simple as that. So auto learning is nothing strange. Just click on record and try to perform the activity on the end application, and all your transactions will get as a script. Along with that, the operations what you are trying to make, that operations information will be loaded into object repository. I mean to say, if I work on this fly from and fly to, even that will be loaded. If I click on flight lines, that will be loaded. So only depending on my operations. Clear? Yes. So that is what auto learning. So you need not to do anything. Just click on record and perform the activity. And simply just click on stop. Move into your object repository. Just have a look on this. I have operated on from city to city and find. So only those three has been loaded now. See you. So it just performs depending on your operations. Clear? So that is what your auto learning. Now let's move on to the pre-learning. As I said earlier, we are going to write the script manually. If you are going to write the script manually, then you are going to add the information into object repository. As simple as that. In the next lecture, we'll be seeing about pre-learning concept. Okay, so we'll end it here and let's meet in next session.